Welcome to episode number 41. I'm CJ Wellerman. Thank you for joining us. In this week's episode, I reveal how Saudi Arabia and United Arab Emirates are aiding and abetting genocide in India and Kashmir. But first, a quick reminder to click on the subscribe button below so you don't miss out on any future episodes. Now let's get into it. With the world's eyes fixed on the crisis brewing in Europe over the Russian invasion of Ukraine, right-wing Hindu extremists are carrying out yet another wave of violence against Muslims in India. This time in Karnataka, where Hindu nationalist leaders have weaponized the murder of a Hindu supremacist gangster to falsely blame Muslims protesting the state's unconstitutional ban on the hijab in schools and colleges, a topic we covered in great length last week. Yesterday, Hindu radicals attacked and vandalized Muslim-owned businesses and homes in Karnataka during a 6-hour orgy of violence. Roll a clip. But to the surprise of nobody, Arab Gulf leaders, notably Saudi Arabia and the UAE, remain silent towards the escalating persecution of Muslims in India. So for the remaining 8 minutes we have left, I will reveal how Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman and Emirati Crown Prince Mohammed bin Zayed are helping the Indian government commit and cover up genocide against Muslims in India and Kashmir. Together, these two monsters have unleashed hell on Muslims across the world, from their criminal war and colonial exploits in Yemen to the backing of violent extremist groups in Libya, to putting their seal of approval on Israel's occupation of the Palestinian territories. I mean, let's not forget both MBS and MBZ organized a letter on behalf of the Chinese government to support Beijing's genocidal campaign against Uyghur Muslims, saying the concentration camps are needed to counter Islamic extremism. A letter that was made to look embarrassingly corrupt. Just weeks later, however, when the Chinese government denied the camps were for counter-terrorism purposes, but instead for vocational training. But even more disturbing is the way in which Saudi Arabia and the UAE are now helping Beijing round up Uyghur migrants and then deport them to China, where they face certain imprisonment or execution. Roll it.
Now, a CNN investigation dives into Uyghur deportations from the Middle East, a stinging betrayal by predominantly Muslim countries. Jumana Karachi has more for you.
This quiet Uyghur protest outside Istanbul's infamous Saudi consulate is a race against time. Noriman's father's fate hangs in the balance. If he's sent back to China, he'll be imprisoned, and there's danger of death, she tells us.
Now, speaking of genocide, there's one being prepared at this very moment against Muslims in India and Kashmir. In fact, Dr. Gregory Stanton, the expert who predicted the Rwanda genocide in 1994, has warned the preparation for genocide has already begun. Go.
Genocide is not an event. It is a process. It develops. I'd say right now, it would be very hard to say, that there's a genocide in Kashmir or there's a genocide in Assam. What there are, however, are the early signs and processes of genocide in both of those places.
But have the Saudi and Emirati governments expressed a single word of concern for the safety and well-being of India's 200 million Muslims? Nope, not once, not ever. In fact, both countries are aiding and abetting genocide by helping the Hindu fascist Modi regime cover up its human rights violations against Muslims. There are so many points of reference here that it's impossible to know where to start. But let's try here. Last week, Dubai-based Forbes Middle East fired an Indian-born journalist 2 days after Oxford University published her research on hate crimes in India, showing a year-on-year upward surge in mob lynching and vigilante violence against Muslims and other minorities since Modi swept to power in 2014. She also found an overwhelming majority of attacks were committed by right-wing groups and individuals in states ruled by Modi's political party. Needless to say, her report embarrassed and angered the Modi regime, which in turn made some calls to its good friend in the UAE to have the journalist fired. You see, Modi is dearly loved by the Emirati regime. Remembering in 2019, the Emirati Crown Prince not only bestowed upon him the country's highest civilian award, but also produced this slick propaganda video via state-controlled media. Watch. It seems to matter not one little bit to the UAE that Modi was responsible for inciting an anti-Muslim pogrom in his state 20 years ago, which not only earned him the title the Butcher of Gujarat, but also had him banned from entering the United States. And when 51 Muslims were hacked, burned and shot to death by pro-Modi Hindu extremists in Delhi 2 years ago, the UAE laid down diplomatic cover for the Indian Prime Minister in publishing this propaganda piece titled "Don't Blame Modi for the Violence." Unbelievable. This is despite the violence being instigated by members of his own party and carried out by its supporters and pro-government thugs within the Delhi police force. You see, the roots of the UAE's close ties to Modi trace back to his role in the kidnapping of Emirati Princess Sheikha Latifah, the daughter of Dubai's ruler Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid, a man found guilty in a UK court for imprisoning his wives. The princess had fled her father's abusive mistreatment for India in 2018, but was kidnapped when Modi ordered Indian commandos to storm her yacht and deport her back to Dubai, where she remains imprisoned in her father's home. Play.
I'm in a villa. I'm a hostage, and this villa has been converted into a jail. All the windows are barred shut. I can't open any window.
For 3 years, the world has heard nothing from Princess Latifah, the missing daughter of one of the world's richest men, Dubai's billionaire ruler, Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum. But now, you can hear Princess Latifah's story in her own words.
I'm doing this video from a bathroom because it's the only room with the door I can lock.
You see, ever since Modi kidnapped and deported the princess 4 years ago, the UAE has sided with India on everything from attacks against Muslims and the stripping of Kashmir's semi-autonomous status. In fact, when the Indian government ended Kashmir's autonomy in 2019 by locking up journalists and local politicians while subjecting the territory to never-ending lockdowns, curfews and communications blackouts, both UAE and Saudi Arabia gave India their tacit approval, saying only that it's an internal matter for India, which of course is the ultimate coward's way out. But today the UAE and Saudi Arabia have given India's Hindu settler colonial project in Kashmir their full-throated endorsement, and are now seeking to capitalize on the persecution of the territory's 10 million Muslims. For instance, 4 months ago, Dubai signed a deal with the Modi regime to build a series of infrastructure projects in Kashmir, a deal valued at more than $1 billion, but one that normalizes India's criminal colonial rule. Go.
Moving on now, in a significant step towards the industrial development of the Indian Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, the J&K administration has signed an infrastructure deal with Dubai. As per the statement released by the Ministry of Industry and Commerce, Jammu and Kashmir administration signed a memorandum of understanding with the government of Dubai for real estate development, industrial parks, IT towers, medical colleges, super specialty hospitals and more.
This deal comes at a time when Kashmir Muslims are being subjected to a raft of cruelties at the hands of 1 million Indian soldiers, including arbitrary arrests, extrajudicial killings, fake encounter killings, torture and more. And then last week things went from bad to worse when Saudi Arabia put the heel of its boot on the necks of every Kashmiri by shunning Pakistan and then sending its military chief to India to boost military ties between Riyadh and New Delhi. Roll it. So at the same time the Pakistani Prime Minister is urging the international community to take action against India for its human rights violations in Kashmir, the Saudi government is siding with the Modi regime and in doing so driving a wedge into the Muslim Ummah. I mean, if Muslim majority countries won't stand up for the rights of persecuted Muslim minorities in India and Kashmir, then one must wonder who on earth will. In putting their full and unwavering support behind India, both Saudi Arabia and UAE are aiding and abetting genocide against 200 million Muslims, a full 15% of the global Muslim population. This must not stand. Anyway, that's a wrap for this week. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please like and subscribe to this channel and help spread the word with your family and friends on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And we kindly ask you please support this endeavor by becoming a member of this show at patreon.com/CJWellerman. We can't produce, sustain and grow the show without your help, and we offer exclusive benefits to those who do. But for now, good night, good morning, or good day, wherever you are, and stay blessed.